Hello, this is Joe Pryor with the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City, a part of Redbud Realty and Associates. And I'd like to address the distressed homeowners out there who may be facing foreclosure in the near or distant future, and talk about the ways that you need to be proactive in avoiding foreclosure. Now, the first rule of thumb, and the one that I always tell people, is to communicate. Do not bury your head in the sand. If you're 30 days late or 60 days late and you see that out-of-state number calling and you know it's the mortgage company, then you really need to contact them. The worst thing that you can do at that point is not to let them know what's going on. You need to talk to them, tell them where you are, tell them what the situation is, ask them what departments you need to talk to about possible relief or things that they can do to help you out, because they will. They really want to avoid a foreclosure with you, but they cannot do anything with you unless you communicate with them. Now, second of all, that communication also goes to people like me, people who do short sale workouts. Now, we're not just going to advise you about short sales and how that may be the right thing for you, but we're also going to look at other alternatives to short sales, so loan modifications, refinances, all sorts of things that we can advise you on, because ultimately what we want to do is make sure that you have the best option available for you and your family. If that happens to be a short sale, then that is something that you may want to do. If there are other alternatives, and I have counseled people that have been able to even avoid the short sale, then that's going to be the right thing to do. The third thing is to assess what your hardship means. Now, we typically deal with about 4 major hardships, one of which is job loss, that's obvious, medical problems, and that can be something that can keep you off the job or cost you a lot of money. Divorce certainly is something that can cause a hardship, and of course forced relocation, where they say you got to move in order to keep your job, and we're not going to give you a package or buy your home. So what you need to decide, is this a long-term problem or a short-term problem? And that may determine what ways or what steps that you're going to take. That's where a refinance, maybe do a lower interest rate, a loan modification that's kind of a bridge over troubled water, may be the right thing for you. Now, if you've lost your job completely, there's some options that are close to you, like the loan modification or the refinance, and so you may have to figure something else out. So once you know that you can communicate with people, and that's the best thing for you to do, and you decide, is this a short-term problem that's going to be over soon, or is it a long-term systemic problem that I am just not going to be able to avoid foreclosure, then we're going to look at other options for you. Now, one option is, do you have equity in your home? Sometimes people may be surprised. They may not realize that the home can be sold in a fashion that maybe there's not money coming to you, but that you can sell it and satisfy the mortgage. That can be one way to do it. So we'll certainly look at a realistic price, look at what you owe, including your late pays, and decide if there is equity that you can tap into to sell that home. You know, I know you don't want to lose your home. I know you don't want to necessarily move, but look at it this way. It's just bricks and mortar. It's just a house. It's not your friends and family. And so it's something that you can always do later. And selling the house and satisfying your mortgage is a good option. Now, the other option is possibly, well, can I rent the property? Let's say that you have to move to Kansas or Chicago or Phoenix or wherever for your job. And let's say you have a $1,000 a month payment, and maybe your house will rent for $1,250, and you can pay a property manager, and you can make that mortgage payment on a monthly basis. Well, that can be an option also that gives you an opportunity of some time. Now, the last 2 options are certainly short sale and deed in lieu of foreclosure. Now, deed in lieu of foreclosure, a friendly foreclosure, if it's, as it's also called, is still a foreclosure, but there are some advantages to it. A short sale is a better thing to do at that point, which means that you can buy a home fairly quickly again once your credit is restored and you have the income and you have some reserves. It is also something that doesn't cause any future credit hits, and so that is an option. So here we have it in a nutshell. Communicate, decide if it's a long-term or short-term problem, find out what your options are, and those options are deed in lieu of foreclosure, short sale better, possibly renting the property, or being able to sell the property with equity. But ultimately, your goal is not to go into foreclosure. It's a terrible credit hit. It really pushes you way out into the future in terms of buying a home. It has a huge impact even on possible employment that you might get. So that is your goal. Avoid foreclosure. We're here to help. This is Joe Pryor with the virtualrealestateteam.com in Oklahoma City, where we deliver traditional real estate values with the speed of technology.